Yes, excessive attachment for material things puts a man in such a bewildering condition, right, of existence. That is exactly what is happening with everybody, including all those successful people. One could be president of the most powerful nation. Exactly same problem is happening. We could be the poorest person and janitor at the same problem happening. If we are devotee, we are having the same problem. We're trying to make things in spiritual life also. We go through tremendous set of problems in that also. Then somebody can read the pink part. What is anybody? Nothing to do with color. This. Right? Mental equilibrium. And this is also, if you read the white papers from Harvard Medical School, etc., exactly same thing they have said. What Prabhupada is telling for past 60, 70 years, whatever we are hearing so far. And not only that, what is said in our uh, scriptures, even prior to the commentaries from the Acharya, exactly same thing they are telling again and again. But it's very hard for us. So essentially, what is happening is that the whole thing is identity crisis, lack of knowledge for my duty and purpose of life. Because I do not understand why am I actually living? Am I living to just go old, get married, first finish my education, get a job, get married, old, and die? Just because I have great gadgets and tools, this is not changing. What is not changing? Four things: birth, old age, disease, and death. It is absolutely not changing for anybody. And we keep working like this. That, if you remember this from last time, these are the four sufferings we have. It is not going anywhere, no matter how powerful we are. I keep giving Steve Jobs example, very, very inspiring example that is in my heart is that he's a very spiritual person. At least he has an understanding. And imagine that time, most powerful person on this planet Earth who was doing great when he was told he's pancreatic cancer in mid 50s, he was not bewildered. He knew doctor told him is 4 months to live. Like Parikshit Maharaj was told 7 days to live. We don't know how much time we have. He changed, he reprioritized everything. He said that I reprioritize everything for those 4 months. Of course, he lived more than that. But most of us will not get that opportunity. Right? And so he's this very beautiful thing. He says that remembering that I will be dead soon is the most important tool I have encountered to help me make big choices in life. I will be not relevant anymore. Actually, after some time, nobody would know who was Steve Jobs. If I asked somebody that who was the president, even you know, fourth time before from now, we have to Google who was the president. Let me see that. So we become very irrelevant. So idea is to understand this is the problem. Everybody knows we have a problem, but realize it and understand this is also my problem, not just Steve Jobs or Bill Gates or somebody else's problem. I am also in that problem. I see everything around me. I think it will not happen to me. So that was really the first thing we talked about. The left side was the problem statement. I need to acknowledge I have a problem and internalize it because without internalizing it, I'm going to go out of this place and go back to the same routine. Go to the car, go whatever I want to do, rest of the week, keep doing the same thing. So Satchidanand Swami Maharaj, if some of you definitely know him, some of you may not know, he's very senior disciple of Prabhupada from Germany. He said wonderful thing. He was doing. He works with youth around the world. So he was having a TSI seminar last week, and he said something very beautiful. He shared that we have to be honest with Krishna. We are dishonest with everybody. It's everybody in every relationship. But we have to be honest with Krishna. At least tell Krishna, this is the state of my mind, and I'm not going to pretend. This is my problem. I want to acknowledge that. Without that, nothing will start. Nothing will start. So now where do we start? The second question. So I have 15 minutes left, please tell me, because I want to make sure I connect last 15 minutes to the whole thing. Otherwise, I get carried away for 3 hour session into 1 hour session. There is a program going on. You all have to go there to find any type of house. Okay. So why mind is hard to engage, right? So chapter 2 is about that. I'm not going to go to all the chapters, but I'm just giving you a sense of it, right? Chapter 2, what does Arjun say when he's bewildered? He says that in text 7, right? Very famous Karpanya Dosha. Now I am confused about my duty and have lost all. Actually, I want to have someone read this. You want to read this? You, yes. Keep going. Disciple surrendered unto you. Right. So what is he doing? He is not quitting. He knows that he has lost everything and no hope, but he's reaching out. He's trying to find a guru. He's trying to find a mentor. That is the first lesson in chapter 2, that when we are hopeless, let us extend our hand. Let us find a mentor, whether it is a career, whether it is spiritual life, whether it is anything, we have to do that. But of course, there is a difference between person who is mentoring on the material side versus person who is mentoring on the spiritual side. Spiritual side person is solving everything. On the material side, solving temporarily small things. So very, very important how we do that. That is first learning from there, right? And then comes now what is to do with mind control or mind management or desire, as you were saying, really everything is sitting in mind, as mind is my friend or its enemy. If you have gone through Bhagavad Gita, everybody knows chapter 6, Krishna and Arjun having this discussion about mind. Is mind friend or an enemy? It's like a knife we talked about, right? With the doctor or a thief. Mind is mind, but if we do not strengthen our intelligence, then mind takes over. And that is the problem that we go through. Literally at every level. Because intelligence is weak and mind takes over, and hence we get into all these issues. Literally everything, even as a devotee family, we get into these issues. Why? Because mind is still very, very strong. And what is intelligence? Knowing what is good or bad. Yes, absolutely. Intelligence is not that I have finished my master's from Harvard. It's a very good thing, by the way. I appreciate that. It is very difficult to go to Ivy League colleges, but that is not intelligence. Even people at Harvard have to take depression medication. If they are smart enough, they would not be taking. I have one of my friend's daughters. They gone to Ivy League school, and one day they called me. Older daughter called me, uncle, please call my younger daughter. She wants to kill herself. She's not coming out of the room. This is the Ivy League school. So we talked for more than an hour, and somehow, it just was very hard. I don't know this stuff, right? But somehow we managed to get her up from her bed and get out of the room. Then we got her help. But imagine, and so I asked her, did you go to the doctor there? You have a campus doctor, etc. And that's where I learned that these campuses, first thing happens is that the doctors prescribe very little investigation, just take antidepressants. And then I said, why do you do that? They don't go in detail. No, half of the campus takes it. So what is the problem if I'm taking? So it becomes very normal. So that is why it is very important. And if you recall why I said the nectar of instruction, we talked about this also last time. And Prabhuji was talking about this verse also. Atyahara Prayasascha. It is such a beautiful thing that is described by Srila Rupa Goswami, which uh, is like Atyahara Prayasascha Prajalpo Niyamagraha Jana Sangascha Galimcha Shaktir Bhaktir Vinashyati. Did I say it right? And what does it mean? It describes what causes us into this problem, right? Which is eating more than necessary, collecting more funds than required, over endeavoring for mundane things that are very difficult to obtain, talking unnecessary about mundane subjects, uh, participating in spirituality for the sake of doing it but not mean it, right? Associating with worldly minded people, etc. In this, you know, everything we can relate very easily. But over endeavoring for mundane things that are very difficult to obtain is the biggest disease that we all have today. If we over endeavor for things, one is that is very difficult to obtain. We make our kids to go through it, we go through it, and throughout our life we keep going, okay, at some point of time I will be happy. And then by the time we achieve that, another goal comes, and we just die like that. Just not not getting to a point where I say, okay, I'm happy, even on a material platform. Just that does not happen. Forget spiritually. So this is a very, very powerful book. If you don't have, please get Nectar of Instruction. I would always encourage that with Bhagavad Gita, everybody, it's only 11 verses and so powerful. Right? So understanding, this is the hierarchy. If you see here on the screen that, we have a body, we have senses, then mind comes, then intelligence, on top of the ego, soul, and super soul. In this order, we can relate things today because of lack of knowledge. We only relate ourselves to the platform of the body. And that is why all the problem happens, because everything is associated on the body platform. And these, and the senses and these companies have figured it out how to entice you, engage us somehow into their engine or their, selling or whatever they are trying to do. I'm not talking about even social media or AI or robotics. I'm talking about even small things. Shampoo. If you buy the shampoo, the hair will be so beautiful. Or if you use this oil, you will never get old. It's not happening. Past 5,000 years, they're selling this. And we are in the trap. Every year they sell the exactly same thing in the new package. And we keep buying to that. Okay, now this will work. Now this will work. And we do the same thing to others. So it's not happening. It is on the body and senses platform. And similarly, everything that we do, including the food, including activities, including gadgets that we want to buy, is only at the sense and the body platform. That is what Srila Prabhupada and Bhagavad Gita is explaining, that the cause of the problem. Not only for us, so what is happening now with the advancement in the technology, in the media, in the AI, the robotics, it is only operating on the material platform. And hence, it is only adding more to the sense gratification, meaning adding more to our problem, which we are already seeing the result of it. Intention may not have been that. Intention may have been that, okay, I'm going to make life comfortable, but it is not working. It's not working because, if we think that, okay, now that it is very easy to say, now I have all these apps on my phone, I can do anything, I don't have to log in, I can work from home. How many hours are you working now? Right? You cruise and you're still looking at your email. So it is really not helping. There was the invention of washing machine many years back. My language, you call it industry X, something where, exponentially things will change. The idea was that with the invention of washing machine, the families will have more time, especially mothers will have more time in that time when it came first, so that they can have fun with the family. Mothers raise their hand, or fathers raise their hand, who has more time? So this is the problem. We were talking about intelligence being right? If it is intelligence is weak, mind takes over. The order is that Mind has to be controlled by intelligence. Intelligence comes from, as you were saying, that is, be able to understand what is good and bad, and that knowledge comes from Bhagavad Gita. So the next part is, I'm going to skip some of these things because we have talked and I'm waiting for him to tell me 15 minutes. I was talking about Harvard Medical School publishing, right? Even they have said, and so many studies are there. If you see this blue part, I don't know if you can see there or not. Actually, yellow and blue. Anybody wants to take a shot at reading this, the yellow part? Yes, sir. This is 2021. This has gone exponentially higher. Exponentially higher. What is the blue part? Somebody? Mataji's. Can you see? Oh, sorry. Right? So now they are also agreeing, talking about meditation, mindfulness. They even go and talk about chanting. So there is different studies done on mantra meditation, chanting of the holy name. So I don't know where was I, but I will go back. Yeah, here. So we talked about envy and jealousy is the cause of everything what we are in actually. And there are some of the examples, especially Indian families can relate very well with these examples. Right? Okay. And then this is a situation, chapter 9 describes about whole of this in detail, what is happening to us. Keep going. What happens to the uncontrolled mind? Even though we see these examples, I gave initially some of the examples what is happening in the family, but this is actually the result of it. Uncontrolled mind, literally. And we really should be there to help our next generation. We really should take a step back and change ourselves so that they can see that we are happy, so that we have to follow, and we really have to work to eradicate our problems based on this knowledge. Otherwise, we can be superficial and a simple thing is that husband, wife, as parent, me and my wife, we are fighting, and my kids should say that why should I get married? I see that. So that's why if you see this next generation, they do not want to get married. They would rather have 15 relationships, keep trying, and then say, okay, we'll figure it out. But why should I get married? Because I see in my family, I see here, I see my neighbor, I see my uncle, auntie, it's not working anywhere. So we really have to take a step back and really see why we are in that situation. We as a parent, not children. Children are there wherever they. Why are we in that situation? How can we fix it? So then let's go into this next part of it. That what do we do with mind, right? When Arjuna is saying the same thing, what we just talked about. It's extremely difficult to control. Everybody knows these verse, chapter 6. That is what. So I'm not reading the verse. I'm just trying to make sure we take the key message from Srila Prabhupada's overall message. It is undoubtedly very difficult to curb the restless mind, but it is possible by suitable practice and by detachment. This is where the seed for Bhakti Yoga now coming. How do you really control? I'll tell you one thing which I've learned. It's very, very interesting that we actually get very attracted to people who are talking about this stuff. But we have to understand. So there are a lot of motivational speakers out there we follow. They're beautiful. They talk so wonderful. Even on the spirituality they talk. But understand, if they are not fundamentally grounded in the real knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, they themselves are stressed out after every program. They do. They need to go and smoke or drink. Oh my God, that was stressful. I talked for 2 hours. Now I need something. It's totally counterproductive. They will talk loudly, this and that. Oh my God, those things that you see, and our youth follow them, unfortunately. But they are more miserable than people who are hearing them. They're taking everybody, like how Srila Prabhupada explains that these some of these spiritual leaders who do it for the sake of their own pleasure and no Guru Parampara, they create their own hell and take everybody there. Even these speakers are putting our own children into that hell. So very important to understand. So what do these successful, coming back to the successful people, before I go into Bhakti, Prabhu, please do tell me. I get very carried away. So what do these successful people do after they realize they're very dissatisfied? Any guesses? Meditation is one thing, yes. They mostly they don't actually seek help. Some of them maybe, but mostly not. But they do one thing to go into it, because of lack of time. They actually turn towards service. They build these philanthropy organizations. So turning towards service is very interesting because they actually find happiness there. They actually find that they are making a difference in the humanity and life of people. What is the biggest foundation today that you know of? Philanthropy Foundation. Melinda Gates Foundation, right? Billions and billions. What do? They are doing some amazing work. They want to eradicate disease. They want to eradicate poverty. Are they successful? No, they're doing good thing. All glories to the people who are contributing billions of dollars. But understand, all these people I put here on the chart, all of them being very successful. Ultimately, they are turning towards service. And there's a fundamental reason why they do that. Including, some of these not so rich people also. During COVID time, people converted their autos into hospitals, they go to help. Of course, there were some people who were even selling oxygen at that time at 10 times of the price. But then there were people like them. Then we have this Food for Life team, Conscious Meal team, who is going serving the shelter homes. They come from all over the place. We have, atheists, Christians, Muslims, Hindus, everybody comes together and they want to go and serve at shelter homes. Why do we want to do this service? Because we find a little bit of joy in that. But what is the reason of that joy? This temporary, remember, it's still on the material platform. These great achievers, why several of these serving? Because mind becomes very satisfied with the channel of service. But they did not reach the state of happiness and content. They still struggle with their overall mental health. Service is the nature of fulfillment. This is where the Bhakti Yoga starts. Srila Prabhupada says the individual soul is forever a servant of the super soul, and therefore his relationship with the super soul is to offer service. This is called Bhakti Yoga. So what is happening? And so these are the 4 books I talked about, right? So you all should have it. I'm going to skip a few things here. And I'm going to skip this also. You all know now that the soul, which is part of the body, is Sat Chit Ananda. Not knowing that also we striving for that happiness. Even though we don't know, we still know that externally we are this body, or I am this, I am so and so. I still looking for that happiness, which is actually nothing but the extension of the soul. And because we do not know who we are, because we do not know what is my real identity, I try to find happiness in everything. And then when it does not work, then I turn towards serving others. And that is the nature of the soul, actually. And that is why people turn towards service. And that is why it is important for us to understand that other than Bhakti Yoga, there is no other way. Just no other way. We can do all kind of yoga systems, but we will come back to the same point that there is no satisfaction happening. Why? One is that, as I said, soul is Satchit Ananda, meaning it is eternal, it is full of knowledge, it is full of bliss, it is for that happiness. And then we have Lord Krishna this side, who is, Paramatma, and reservoir of pleasure. We are trying to connect to get that happiness on a material platform through relationship, things, etc. And imagine if I'm trying to connect with somebody on this planet Earth so that I can expect happiness from that person is looking for the same thing. Both are beggars. How can a beggar can give something to other who does not have it? And hence we really have to turn towards the reservoir of the pleasure, which is no one else but Lord Krishna himself. And that is where Bhakti Yoga starts. So now my 15 minutes start, Prabhu. So what is the word yoga means? Everybody knows. I just put it here so that, because I use same messaging at different places where people don't know, but you all know, right? It is connecting with the Lord, etc. But important thing is, that some quotes from Journey Home, I'm going to skip these. They define, Maharaj defines details of yoga process, bhakti and love, etc. If you have time, if you have not read it, I would highly recommend Journey Within, Journey Home. Please read it. That like must-have books for some of us. So this is a beautiful picture, and you put yourself in the shoes of this person who is standing there with the dog. Dog is saying, "I'm very happy, whatever I'm doing." Right, like pet who is very happy. This person has two choices every time. Am I happy? Yes and no. If I'm happy, Bhagavad Gita class is not for us. Go live happily and wherever you are. If we have intelligence to figure it out, yes, I'm going to get old, disease, and die. This does not make sense. Then we need to do something about it. And that is really called change management. If you are from corporate side, we can relate to change management work. What do we do? We're changing to adapt to the new system, thinking that this will be the best thing now. And that is the change management what Bhagavad Gita gives us and Bhakti Yoga gives us. How do we implement the change management? So let us take a little bit deeper dive into this. This will be very quick now, the Bhakti Yoga side also. The two aspects of energy, material energy and spiritual energy. Right? So on this board, you can see that five gross elements, which is our external body. This is part of the material energy. And then we have three subtle elements, which is mind, ego, and intelligence. So we have to strengthen the intelligence so that mind can be controlled. But all this is still in the realm of material energy. It does not take us beyond that. So any yoga system that is dealing with the five elements of the body, the three elements of the body cannot take us. It can take us only so far. Right? It is important to deal with that because that is the only way we can get to the mode of goodness. But we have to understand that is not the complete picture. So here's the yoga system picture on one side, right? We hear this Ashtanga Yoga, Hatha Yoga, and then the Yoga, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, etc. But understand where these yoga system takes us, up to what point. Is it still solving my full problem? So these yoga system deals with different parts of both material and spiritual life. And the Bhakti Yoga system, if you see in the chart, actually takes us beyond, breaks the barrier of the whole spiritual, and within spiritual realm also, it goes deep into the last stage where we are actually creating a divine and a very uh, beautiful relationship for the exchange of love for which the soul has been hankering through the material relationships on this planet and things, which is creating primarily disappointments. So if you look at this, feel free to take picture, absolutely, if you want to take for references, but important thing to understand to distinguish between these things. Yoga, not every yoga is same. Because I do pranayama or asanas does not mean that I am doing bhakti. Pranayama, asana is good, but then it comes with Ashtanga yoga has these 8 elements, right? It's starting from yama, niyam, asana, pranayama, pratyahar, dharana, dhyan, samadhi. Pratyahar. So yama, niyam is do's and don'ts. Asana is what we mostly know. Pranayama, almost everybody knows breathing exercises that we do. But all that is a hetu. Hetu means purpose. We do not know that nobody teaches purpose today. Why are we doing it? And we do it again for the sense gratification. I'll have better body, better health. Now I can go and enjoy more. Don't know why am I doing pranayam? Why am I doing asanas? We get into the same trap. The dharana is really, anybody knows what a dharana is? As an example, I'm looking at Sri Radha Kala Chandi. I take into my mind and I said, okay, I'm going to be fixed on this one. And then I go to dhyan, which is meditation on them. The samadhi is completely absorbed in the divine relationship with Krishna and Radha. When we do Ashtanga Yoga, that platform that leads to Bhakti Yoga, ultimately, that is the purpose of it. Not that I just stay on the material platform and think that I will be happy. We will never be happy. So, last part that you see in this, which is actually, we talked about the Bhakti Yoga. The purpose of that is really to connect with the Lord and really have the divine experience. And once we understand that, then we start making endeavor to get there. So, how to bring the divine service of Bhakti Yoga in our life? Now, I'll just go through some of the key verses that some of you already know. Meaning, the living entities, the condition, living entity in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental part. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which includes the mind, right? 15th chapter. So the four pieces that we have talked previously also, but this time I will focus on Bhakti Yoga part, these ABCD principles. A is for association. We all know, we've talked previously also, we understand association can make and break. All these false identities that we get in the trap of are the result of our association. And it's very, very hard to change it. We are afraid that if I break it, I'm going to lose something, even when we are on the Bhakti path. We are not willing to do that. We're just hanging on to, I'm talking about myself, hanging on to, okay, somehow I get initiation, somehow I hang on with devotees, but I still keep doing stuff in my heart, mind, the background, which is counterproductive. That is what Satchidananda Swami Maharaj says is about honesty with Krishna. Simplicity. In our culture, unfortunately, over the period of time, we have learned not to be simple in our heart. There's duplicity. I will say one thing, but I don't mean it. I want to do Vaishnava Seva. What can I do? Mataji, Prabhuji. I say, okay, I hope I don't get too much work. Right? And so that is the problem. So we have to go towards simplicity and honesty slowly. And then the best way to do is go and pray to Krishna. I'm not simple. I'm not honest. I know it. I might continue doing it, but please help. Because I can't serve my Guru. And so from Guru's blessings, we go to serve Krishna, but I am not even at that step where I can serve Guru. So I need different help. Krishna, help me to serve my Guru properly. So association can make and break our life, both spiritual and material life. This is chapter 7, 30th slok. I just wanted to highlight this part where uh, Srila Prabhupada describes the Krishna consciousness is the beginning of the Krishna consciousness is association of person who are Krishna conscious. Such association is spiritual and puts one directly in touch with the Supreme Lord. And by His grace, one can understand Krishna to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that is why it is so important to associate with sadhus. Second one is B. This is where we will spend the time and see. B is for books. There are two types of education, Aparavidya, Paravidya. We have talked previously also. Aparavidya takes us, get us material success. On a financial platform, on education platform, on health platform, etc., relationship, etc. Paravidya teaches us how to grow through life, not just go through life. Right? God Gopal Prabhu explained this very nicely, that we just go through life. and die. No difference between dog and us, or a pig, or a mosquito. But if we do not grow through life, then we are in a wrong body. And that's why we have 8.4 million species. That if we do not use body for the right purpose, then arrangement of Krishna is that on the material platform, we get the body that we desire the most. That is why the desire are the most important thing. As an example, somebody was asking me question there, oh, my child is awake all night. What do I do? That's how they study. And I said, as long as they just study and finish it and come out of it, it is good. But if that becomes a habit that I love to be awake, because there are people who love to be awake all night and sleep during the day, eventually what body do they get? Whose body? Huh? Polar bear, I don't know. They are awake at night? Ouch. Simple example. Yeah, So we have to understand that. That is why we have 8.4 million species. Whatever we desire, there is a body to fulfill that desire. Krishna is very merciful. That is why we have these. You desire this, you don't want to be in body, fine, you go and do that. When you are happy there, come back. I will again give you human body. Exactly, this is how it works. You want to be the fastest swimmer? Guess what? You can't be fastest in human body no matter what you can beat fishes or whale. You get to become fish or whale. You want to be the fastest runner on this planet? You can't do that in human body. So point is that we make those endeavors like the nectar of instruction cells, right? We make 15, 20 years to become the best in that class. For what? This body is not made for that, Baba. Do something else. And so Krishna says, okay, fine, I'll give you that body. And you don't come back. So idea of all this is to go from ignorance and passion to mode of goodness. Because in mode of goodness, we can understand this knowledge. And then we go beyond the three modes of material nature because mode of goodness is not enough. This is different class and topic. We can talk some other time. But essentially, even the donation in mode of goodness is not, it still leads to birth, old age, disease, and death. So we come to this point. So just look this very quickly that this knowledge, Parayana Para Vidya, which is through B for books, ABCD we are talking, A for association, B for books. If we do not include the spiritual knowledge like books in our life, then foundation of spiritual goals is not there. We only playing in top four. Career goals, financial goals, family goals, health goals. These are temporary in nature. They're taken away even before our death. Anytime. We go through layoffs, so many people are going through it today. Suddenly lose healthcare, suddenly our financials are bad, stock market is down, all that keeps going. They are taken up. Relationships. But spiritual goal is a foundation which is never taken away. So very important to include that. Then C for chanting. Can I take 10 minutes for one? Yeah. A little bit over time, but is it okay? With your permission? So C for chanting of the holy name and mantra meditation. And so you can see, some things that we do Hare Krishna Mahamantra, mantra is deliver, etc. All of you know this philosophy. I think we already established a point that devotional service really is a service because we want to serve. And we already established a point that on the material platform also we try to find happiness through service. Now, how to perform devotional service is comes through this part of C, which is mantra meditation. Why do we do that? So we'll review a few verses here very quickly. Why are we establishing that relationship with Krishna? Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita in chapter 6, we'll start and go through few of them. Yogi Nam Api Sarvesham. Somebody wants to read the translation? Because we have less time. Anybody? Krishna's opinion. Want to take it? Don't want to take it? Leave it. Let's read this one. Bhoktaram, very famous verse. Bhoktaram Yagita Prasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. Anybody wants to read? Any kids want to read the translation?
All successes and austerities. The supreme lord of all planets and gods, and the benefactor and well-wisher of all living beings, attains peace from the pangs of material.
Vessels. Thank you, Mother. So, which is watering the roots. Why are we doing that? Why are we not? Why Srila Prabhupada and Krishna is saying that yes, it is good to serve humanity, but if you take Krishna out of the picture, it is only leading to karmic reactions back. Serve the humanity by putting Krishna in the center. And that is this picture represents here, watering the roots. Because Krishna is the Bhoktaram Yagadasam, he is the enjoyer. And it's very hard to understand this. I want to be enjoyed too. Why Krishna is enjoyer? We do not understand. It's like, father or parent is the head of the family and they're earning and kid thinks that okay, I want to have this all salary, I want to earn, I'm going to do it, but you throw them on the street, they are miserable. But what is happening here? Same child is having loving relationship with father and mother, gets something from them and offer back to them, right? And the parents are very happy. Child is also happy. And this child is not losing the happiness. That is exactly what is our situation. It's not that because Krishna is Bhoktaram Yagatapasam, I will be poor and miserable. Saying that, okay, when you are connected into that, back into that relationship, we will be actually very happy. So, because that is nature is to serve. Otherwise, we are serving somebody here. Next one. Oh, we did this one. Sorry. Where did it go? This one. Okay, so this is 9.22. Anybody wants to read the translation, please?
Those who always worship me through devotion, meditating on my transcendental form. To them, I carry what they lack, I preserve what they lack.
So he's making a promise here. Those who always worship me with exclusive devotion. This is very important, the word exclusive devotion. Meditating on my transcendental form. To them, I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have. But this needs a lot of faith for exclusive devotion. Because this does not mean that, oh, because good things are happening, I can say that, yes, I trust you. And suddenly bad things have started happening on a material platform, I have to go somewhere else now. No. Whatever is happening on material platform, I have full faith in you. That is exclusive devotion. And this is referred again and again. So this one is, sorry, I'm not able to expand that very well. This is how to do it now. How about very beautiful verses, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam. If you offer me with love and devotion, a leaf, flower, fruit, water, I will accept it. That is the start of the devotional service, literally. And even in office, Krishna says, I am the taste of water. To experience Krishna, even at work or wherever you are in school, just before you sipping the glass of water, just take a minute and calm down and say, okay, oh my God, this is Krishna. This is amazing. The water is amazing. We feel Krishna in that. So, Patram Pushpam Phalam Tuyam does not mean that understand that. It actually literally means that. But very important, it is about consciousness. Meaning, I'm going to eat butter paneer masala and naan. And to Krishna, I'll give leaf and flower. That is not what it means. What it means is that whatever I have, I want to give best to the person I want to be in love with. So, Srila Prabhupada says chapter 12 is full devotional service. All of all of you have read it. Without without devotional service, all other methods for spiritual self-realization are weak and insignificant. He further says, Unless one comes to the devotional service of Lord Krishna, Jnana Yoga cannot give the desired results. And then I've highlighted a couple of verses. Verse number 2, chapter 12. It may be hard for you to see, so I will read it. Those who fix their mind, the Supreme Personality of God, it said, those who fix their minds on my personal form and always engage in worshipping me with a great transcendental faith are considered by me to be the most perfect. 6 and 7, he says that, but those who worship me, giving up all their activities unto me and being devoted to me without deviation, engage in devotional service and always meditating upon me, having fixed their mind upon me, O son of Pratha, for them I am the swift deliverer from the ocean of birth and death. It is very easy actually. And then 12:20. If anybody can see on the left side, they can read the translation. Dear to me. That is all about that relationship, right? They're very dear to me. So we have to make an endeavor, honest endeavor. That is where it starts. And then it says, and why should I? He's even describing in 15:15, very famous verse, Sarvasichaham Hridaya Sannivishto. I am to be known from the Vedas. So we can read everything, we can get all the knowledge, but if we have not understood the essence of it, why am I doing it? What is the hetu of it? Then it is actually useless. We are back to the same point that yes, we got knowledge, but we are going to go into the birth and death cycle. Then other two famous verses everybody knows, 18 chapter 65. Manmana. Anybody knows? You want to read? You want to read? Kids. Kids are reading. The parents are reading. Anyone want to read the last one? Thank you. He's reading. Read it loudly.
I shall deliver you from all sin.
Do not fear. So, I mean, it's so clear. There is no ambiguity in entire Bhagavad Gita why we should do devotional service. If we take it seriously, we will be very serious. And these are tools that I discuss at work typically. All of you know, Keaton, you are doing it. The D is for diet. Everybody knows. Everybody's eating prasadam here, but it describes in very detail what happens with the food in mode of passion, mode of ignorance, mode of goodness, why we have to go on to higher taste, etc. So I think the point, because the topic was AI, point we have to take it away that yes, in the age of artificial intelligence, Bhagavad Gita is absolutely relevant because all the technology advancement are for the bodily comfort. Absolutely okay to have it, as long as it is not coming in our way to make a spiritual progress. If we can use it to make a spiritual progress, because they are dealing in the realm of three modes of material nature only. They are not talking about spiritual consciousness. So hence, that is why we do Bhakti Yoga. Sorry.